to more about looping. And if you have a look at our code, we're going to start off where we last left off. And we've got our counting loop at the top, and there's our little times table square, our little times table, and we can see the output still displayed at the bottom. Now, what if I wanted to change the way this works? One of the things I could do is I could say to the user, well, I'll tell you what, let's change this base number, this times by 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something, I'm going to use a variable. That's called the multiplier. So I'm going to put multiply as my variable, equals input. Do note that's the equal sign. I know it can look like a minus on your screens, but input, and then speech marks. Please enter a number, and then close speech marks and close that. So that's going to go into the multiplier. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click where my 7 is. I'm going to end the speech marks, delete the 7, end the speech marks, comma, multiply. So now my new variable, comma, and then put the speech marks back. So I've got less and less of the text there, and it's simply going to take counter, whatever this value is counting, times the multiply, whatever value the user puts in, equals, and then the calculation. And the last thing I've got to change, it still says 7, so I'm just going to put a space in to make it tidier, multiplier. So again, I'm using this variable once again, that's storing a value. So now it should give me whatever the user types in. This makes it a little bit more useful. Let's see what happens. Got the syntax right, so that's good. Please enter a number. There it is, waiting for me. I'm going to put 7 and press enter. Ooh, something's very wrong. Well, of course it is. This is what we looked at earlier. I forgot in here to make it convert the value to an integer so that it now knows to convert string 7 into the value 7. That's good. Let's try it again. Please enter a number, 7, and there it goes. But the power of this, and you might think, well, I could see the code there, but maybe he's running something else. Well, clearly the power of this is if I run it again, I can enter, let's say, 12 and press enter. And you clearly haven't seen me enter that, and yet it's doing the 12 times table. In fact, it will do any times table I want from 1 to 12. That's a little bit boring. I might not want to do 1 to 12. I might want to change the upper value. So let's put starter. It's easier to choose a number that definitely the system won't have heard of. Int, we know we need that. Then input, because that's where I want to take it from the keyboard. Please enter your start value. Speech marks, close brackets, close brackets. I'm going to put a space after this colon just to make it look neater. So that's going to go to starter, and then ending equals int, open brackets, input, open brackets, speech marks, please enter your end value, space, the space is only there to keep it tidy. And then I'm going to change the 1 to starter, and I'm going to change the last digit to ending +1, because whatever the user wants, I'm going to put some space in just to make it easier to read, but +1 because whatever the user wants, they're not going to get if I just end there. We've seen that. If I want 12, I must have 13. So I take what the user's given me and I add 1 to it to make sure I give them the value they want. Let's see how that runs. Let's hope we got that right. Ooh, it's working. So let's say we want the 15 times table. No way I'm going to work that one. Let's start at 3, so 3 times 15, and let's go to 25. 25 times 15. Look, let's work them. And there it goes. It starts at 3 times. It's going all the way down. There's 25 times 15, and there you go. I've got the 15 times table, but starting at 3 and going on to 25. But I can go further than that. I can introduce something else. I'm going to create a variable called stepper. And again, it's going to be a value, so I need an integer. Input, speech marks. Please enter the step. Now, if you've never come across steps before, it's not going to make any sense. But there you go. I'm going to put a space in so there's a separation between my variables up here and my counter. And what I'm going to do is after the +1, so after the +1 but before the brackets, I'm going to put comma and then I'm going to put stepper. That doesn't seem to do very much at all, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to run. Okay. So asking me for my number, so let's go 15. So asking me for my start value, so 3, and asking me for my last one, so 25. And it's going to ask me for my step, and I'm going to say 1. Let's see what the difference is. Hopefully you can see there is no difference. It's exactly the same the first time I ran it from the last time I ran it. But let's try that again and let's see what the stepper does this time. So please enter a number. We're going to stick with 15. I'm going to start with 3 again. I'm going to go 25, but I'm going to put 2, not 1 for my step. Can you see? Before it went 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way down to 25. But this time it's 3, 5, 7, 9. If I don't put step anything in as the third value, then the for counter works on the assumption that we want to add 1 each time. If I tell it to put the stepper, if I put a value in this last part here, then it adds that to it instead. I put 2 in this time, so it added 2. So it started at 3, then 5, then 7, because it adds 2 to that value each time, till it meets or exceeds my upper value. So ending in this case was going to be 26, because I put in 25. So 26 would be the upper. As long as it got to 26 or higher, it would stop. Well, that's quite useful. That's quite nice to know about. And that allows us to have some nice little play here. For example, I'm now going to, if you want to pause the video and type that all in and have a try of it, perfectly welcome to it. We can now create any times table we want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to give this a new name. I'm going to call this Countdown. So File Save. So I've deleted it, but I've still got the old code. I'm going to keep my for counter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a print statement in. That good old-fashioned print statement. Ready for launch. Print. Engines on. Print. Countdown. Now obviously the countdown for launching rockets starts at 10, counts to 1. Well, we know we've always got to, that one's always got to be 1 less, so if we want to go to 1, we've actually got to go 1 less than that, 0. And the stepper, well, the stepper is important this time because we don't want to go from 0 to 10, we want to go from 10 to 0. How do I do that? Well, I've got to go 10 then 9, so I'm going to take away 1 each time. And then all I'm going to do in here is just get it to output the counter. Go back to there, print, take off. Let's run our code. Yes, there it goes. Oh, it's a little bit fast. Well, I've got the counter and it tells me what I need. All I need to do is slow little bits of it down. And so I'm going to introduce one little more thing. Import time. Now import pulls into program other things that the computer can do. Python has got certain commands like print and the for and the input. These are built in to the system already, all ready to go. But some other commands are not part of the Python naturally, and we've got to import them to pull them in. And so one of those is this time concept. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to here, and time is simple. It's time.sleep, open brackets, and then what we put in the brackets is the number of seconds we want the computer to stop for, to sleep for. I'm going to put 2 there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that line because I'm lazy. I don't want to keep typing the same thing in. So I'm going to post it there. I'm going to put it into there. And I'm going to add a line just to the end, so there's a bit of a delay at the end of 1 second there. So there you go. There's my counter. Imports the time. Prints ready for launch. Should wait 2 seconds. Prints engines on. Waits 2 seconds. Prints countdown. Waits 1 second. We'll count 10 to 1. Then wait 1 second and tell us to launch the spaceship or take off. So let's run this. Let's see how that does. Ready for launch, 2 seconds. Engines on, 2 seconds. Countdown, 1 second. There it goes, countdown, and then take off. Now, that's quite a fast countdown. I mean, let's be honest, if you're launching a spaceship and you're going ready for launch, wait 2 seconds, engines on, wait 2 seconds, countdown, wait 1 second, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, that's going to be incredibly, you want those to be seconds. So we're going to use the indentation of the print statement of the loop, and I'm going to use the time command in there, tell it to sleep for 1 second. So this is a second line that's going to run. This is going to print up the number, then wait 1 second, go round. Print up the next number, wait 1 second, go round. And keep using both these lines, both these indentations. I'm going to run. Okay, here we go. Ready for launch down the bottom here. Engines on. Countdown 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take off. There's a longer delay there because I've already got 1 second. It waited before it dropped out. I actually don't need this last one. That slows it down to 2 seconds. 1 second within the loop and then 1 second after. So that's the more prompt timer there. I hope that's been useful.